My name is Jordan Trainer, and I am presenting on behalf of Ann Wilkin, myself, and Christy Smith regarding survivors of traumatic events. Survivors of traumatic events may have mental health issues such as PTSD, anxiety, and depression. These populations at best may be reaching up to level 3 on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Social determinants of health affecting this group of people may be their lack of social cohesion and civic participation post-trauma. After enduring a trauma, the psychological aftermath may be overwhelming, and often these people are not living very functional lives. There's a range of how survivors of traumatic events are portrayed by the media. Mental health treatment by the media has vastly improved over the last several years and has turned to a more sympathetic viewpoint. This is seen in media with documentaries, movies, and in the news. Survivors are often portrayed as strong and brave because they have survived terrible things, such as war veterans in movies, and seeing their mental health aftermath. They may be portrayed as unstable and disturbed as well, with resulting mental health issues or violence. Negative stigmas may have an effect on people seeking treatment for mental health related issues post-trauma. But there is also much positive media encouraging people to seek help and not be ashamed of their mental health status. Family support for victims of traumatic events can make all the difference. An article is written that discusses the importance of social support in post-traumatic growth and in moderating mental health symptoms post-trauma. PTSD and depression symptoms were found to be decreased in individuals with a strong social support system. The role of peers may have similar benefits as the role of families in the outcomes of survivors of traumatic events. Peers or friends can provide a listening ear and be a shoulder to lean on, thus providing a therapeutic effect, particularly in adolescence. Peers who experience trauma together may have shared empathy and provide support for each other in this form. Flashbacks are an intense revisualization of the traumatic scene experienced, and these, along with triggers, may bring back emotions, anxiety, certain behaviors that correlate with the traumatic event that was experienced. By experiencing these flashbacks and triggers, trauma survivors sort of have a cyclical or recurring effect of the original trauma over time. An example may be war veterans hearing loud noises, which can trigger a flashback. The government provides help for those suffering with mental health issues. For example, national help is provided through organizations like the VA or the National Child Traumatic Stress Network. There are also state-level organizations that can help, such as the National Alliance on Mental Illness in Utah. Potential barriers to seeking help for those suffering after traumatic events include mental health stigma, health customs, religious beliefs, or socioeconomic status. Many people may not seek help post-trauma due to their health customs or religious beliefs because they rely on God and His will in their health. This is common among refugees from certain parts of the world. Other people may believe there is nothing wrong with them if they are not presenting with physical ailments. Trauma is highly prevalent throughout the world. Data from the WHO World Mental Health Surveys concluded that 70% of individuals have experienced trauma in at least one form in their lifetime. A study was done by Aberdeen and Zimmerman on Cambodian trafficking survivors, and they found that psychological support for the growing number of identified trafficking survivors in Cambodia will depend on improved geographical distribution of services, along with more mental health support professionals, and the growing acceptability of mental health service used among trafficked people and the Cambodian public. This tends to be true for most countries and communities. Available resources for those of rural or lower socioeconomic statuses are harder to come by, so treatments can be limited. The resources that one has during a traumatic event can influence their assessment of the event. For example, following a traumatic event, those of a higher class may feel like they can seek treatment and be able to pay for the services that they need to get back on track. Those in the lower class may not have these resources available and truly struggle to cope or seek the help that they are in need of. Living in a community of lower socioeconomic status is a risk factor for trauma exposure. Those in the high socioeconomic group worldwide were more likely to seek help for mental disorders, followed by the middle and then the lower classes. Of those groups, the lower socioeconomic classes were more likely to seek help and services from religious providers. Racial and ethnic minorities are more often targets of violence, as well as those of gay, lesbian, or bisexual orientation. Language barriers can often be a reason one does not receive the necessary care or treatments that they are in need of. Populations of various ethnicities have their own traditions and lifestyles. It is important to understand that each race may have their own ways of treatment or dealing with trauma, and that we need to be respectful of those differences, of course. Historically, spiritual traditions have long provided a frame of meaning for survivors in making sense of trauma and reconnecting with family, larger communities, and even a higher power if they believe in those things. Spiritual practices such as worship, prayer, or meditation can promote positive emotions such as joy and peace, and reduce the physiological arousal that typically characterizes PTSD. Religious providers are the entry door for many people that suffer from mental health disorders, and often are the only directly available resource for these people. Access to religious providers does not require referral and is free of charge. As such, it could be the only available resource for people with low financial resources. Religious leaders need to be properly trained in recognizing when people are suffering from traumatic events or mental disorders, and be able to find appropriate help for these individuals, because many people rely on those religious providers. Women have been found to experience sexual assault more often than men, along with intimate partner violence, while men are more likely to experience physical assaults, such as threats with a weapon and combat exposure. Men and women also respond differently to trauma. Women are more likely to seek help following a traumatic event than men are. Geographical location creates limits similar to those that people put on those of low socioeconomic statuses, because they are less likely to seek out resources if it is too difficult to gain access to them. Luckily, there are countless internet-based organizations and information regarding telephone services that are available to the public. Again, this may affect those without internet access or phone services, but that population is a small percentage. An example of geographic issues is from an article that discussed Hurricane Katrina survivors and the effects of being separated from family members. When people were displaced from their homes and relocated to regions where they were separated from these family members and friends that had been survivors with them, they were finding that they had increased risks to their mental health, and this was caused by that distance. This is called collective trauma, and when a group has been exposed to a traumatic event, they are able to form bonds that strengthen them collectively. The worst type of bias surrounding survivors of traumatic events is that they have created this issue for themselves, and they are not responding to the incident the way that people expect them to. Clearly, this is a ridiculous assumption for people to make, especially since trauma is experienced on a very individual basis, whether it was experienced in a group setting or experienced individually. As a nursing community, we believe it's crucial for us to recognize that being a survivor means that the person did whatever they could to make it through their traumatic situation, and they should be praised for that rather than ridiculed. Implicit and explicit biases can be placed by the individual trauma survivor themselves or by their peers. And studies have been done that show it is quite common for survivors of childhood trauma and abuse especially to place blame on themselves and limit their own expectations for success after the ways that they have been treated and spoken to during the trauma. So the truth is that no human on earth is devoid of trauma, regardless of their race, gender, socioeconomic status, or place of living. Because trauma is usually sudden and unexpected, people in all regions of the world are at risk. Ulrich Snyder, a past president of the International Society for Traumatic Stress Studies, wrote an article in the European Journal for Psychotraumatology about the barriers that need to be eliminated so that survivors receive proper treatment from mental health professionals. They concluded that they would hold meetings in different parts of the world to discuss the needs of those specific regions of the world and how they would implement new traumatic stress organizations. This is in effect and will allow formation of guidelines for treatment and prevention of specific trauma based on the culture and specific regions of the world. Here are our reference pages, and thank you.